Strange thing, with celebrities when you think about it, because in many terms they can simply be doing incredibly well, and then one false move makes them lose millions. As ever, is this the case for the former royals known as Harry and Meghan? Let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Shawn here. Back on a bus, of course, as I like to take the bus up and around London. It's the only way to go, actually. My thing would be bus over tube, simply because it's less steps, it's a bit more accessible. And ultimately, you tend to find that they're a little bit more empty than the tube at this time of year. Chock a block, as you can imagine, with all this summer heat. Oh, plays havoc, doesn't it? I know. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. Now, as we all know, and forgive the wobbles because I am holding the stick, obviously, as well. What's interesting, as you know, with Harry and Meghan, they walked away or were axed, fired, whatever, called grifters from that Spotify deal. I think it was a little bit, shall we say, unsavoury of that CEO to do that. I mean, when you think about it, he could have been a little bit better mannered. There's no two ways about it. But the bigger deal is really this. Did they actually walk away from the deal, or in fact, was there something, a bigger picture behind that? Now, according to a very good source, as we know, Meghan and Harry basically only got together one single podcast, one single series of podcasts. Then we've had everything falling out about who owns what, why they own it, and all of that sort of stuff. And on top of all of that, they were supposed to produce 24 episodes, and so far, after nearly 2.5 years, they only managed 13 episodes. So you can understand why the bosses out at Spotify were less than thrilled with this. But here's where it gets more interesting, because everything could have been saved and millions could have still been coming back in to the coffers at Archwell Productions and Entertainment, whatever you want to call it. But you see, as we've seen before on many different occasions, it's very much as, Prince Harry famously said now, what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, and seemingly it's what she wanted. She wanted to go it alone on the Archetypes podcast. She wanted her voice and it to be her particular production. Harry was more than keen on that. But here's again where it gets really interesting, because originally the bosses had hoped that this was going to become a duo. Literally, Harry and Meghan podcasting together, interviewing, two people or, one person, separate sort of interviews, that type of thing. Now, this could have been saved as a deal, according to a very good source, and as ever we have to say, allegedly, because Spotify were willing to continue, according to that source, who worked on those podcasts, if they were willing to do this as a duo, simply team up as a twosome. According to that good source, it had to be Meghan and Meghan's voice only. And so the deal literally frittered out the door. Not because, of course, it was down to whether Harry would sign on as well, but they couldn't really give them any firm dates as to when the next series or indeed the next guest would be coming in to record. So consequently, Spotify, who are, hemorrhaging literally a lot of subscribers, and on top of all of that, also, let's not forget that they've got problems with the people that they're having to let go of, make redundant, etc. They simply decided to draw a line underneath it, and that's truly how this particular production with Spotify finally ended. Neil Shawn on a bus in the very heart of London.